Arbitrage. It's Saturday. When I tell y'all we're not gonna keep y'all too long today, we're not, right? We just there was some time sensitive stuff we wanted to talk about, and also well, they're both time sensitive.
Yeah, everything is time sensitive now. It seems like news is coming in, kind of fast and furious, if you will. So we just want to come out here and give you some news or some things we've seen that we thought would be pertinent to the family and people who are our Bitcoin family. So one thing we want to say, I know people got paid this week. I know y'all got paid. So be stacking, be stacking, be stacking. Satoshis and ounces, even if it's just a small amount. So that's what we want to bring about to you. And what's wrong?
It's Huntley Goldberg. Remember,
Oh
he
yeah,
was
that's
the one who
it.
did the fact checking
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. Fact checker, back. Yeah,
We appreciate you, Huntley, a lot.
Yeah, yes, sir. That work, man. We appreciate that work, good sir. So we wanted to start off by talking about. We're gonna have some different things to talk about. So, an article we came across just today, right here.
Right at the 11th hour before we're supposed to shoot the
Just
show.
today. So we come across the article today, September 30th, 2013, against September 30th, 2023.
23.
The dollar has lost 99.5% of its value against Bitcoin.
99.56.
Okay, you're gonna take it out to the second.
99.56% against Bitcoin. And that's even more than the purchasing power it's lost since its
Yeah,
inception.
since it's not its inception. So the dollar we had seen.
So since 71. It is since 71.
Dollar has lost 98 point about 5% of its purchasing power since 1971, when President Richard Milhouse Nixon
Not Milhouse.
took the dollar off the gold standard.
Yes.
So it's lost 98.5% since 1971. The dollar has lost 99.56% since 2013 against Bitcoin, right? So unfortunately, most people who we're speaking to didn't get into Bitcoin in 2013. Those were the
early years.
cowboy days, man. It was crazy
Cowboy
back then.
country.
It was crazy back then, but even if you got in a little bit later, you understand the value of Bitcoin against the dollar, because the dollar just it's dropping, and like the people will tell you, it's going to go to its ultimate value of zero. It's just a matter of time, but it's so close. I mean, 98.5%.
The purchasing power,
That's
and then
pretty close to zero.
the
It's getting close.
99.56% against Bitcoin. And shout out to the Metaverse president. Thank you so much for joining. He said that he caught another live. The show's been fire. Thank you so much for joining us. These are very small periods of time, right? Because when you look at it against the British pound,
right?
that's over 200 and almost 40 years.
About 347.
340 years.
Yeah.
That it took over 340 years to lose the purchasing power that the dollar lost since 71, right? And that's just the dollar purchasing power. And then we're looking at it against Bitcoin, which is just a 10-year difference.
Yeah.
So you're seeing the destruction happening more.
It's happening faster. Remember, the British sterling pound, when came into existence, was supposed to be worth 12
Troy
ounces of silver.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we could do the math on that. 12 ounces of silver. Silver is about 25. You could do the math on it. It'd be over about it's almost close to 300. So you would be able to get $300 in return, right?
Can you imagine that?
Yeah, because they ain't getting nothing for no sterling pound. They had to go ahead and create a new currency, because the euro's not that old.
No,
it's not that old. I can't remember 97, 99,
Right around
right around there.
2000-ish,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's not that old. It's not
Because
that
it was
old.
also the consolidation of
Yeah.
Europe, right? They thought things would be stronger then. And this is why we do all of the geography and the history with you guys,
Mhm.
because those are the things that tell the truth
Sorry.
behind this. Okay, babes. Do you want to put it right there, sweetheart?
No, I'm okay.
If
I'm
you, I can
sorry.
bring it closer.
No, I'm okay. I'm sorry.
And I'm feeling much better.
All right, good.
Yeah, y'all, I wasn't feeling good.
She's
He was,
juiced up.
I wasn't feeling great.
She's juiced up.
We had church today, so that was like 2 hours, and we do church in our home, so it was a lot of studying and talking, and I was starting to feel lightheaded. I had to like take a breather, but I think I'm okay now. So I think that was important to bring to your attention, because that was what you brought to my attention was the British pound took. I thought it was 240 years, so pardon me. It's over 340 years. Let's say 350 just to, I know Huntley gonna be on it. He gonna look it up. How many years since how much, since its exception have they lost their purchasing power, right? So you're looking at that, which was worth 12 troy ounces of silver. And then you look at the dollar, which was just taken off that standard in 1971. That's not that long ago, right? And then you're now looking at the dollar against Bitcoin, and that's only 10 years. So no, we appreciate you, Huntley. I was just teasing, but I appreciated you doing that, because I had to write those notes down after you gave me that information. So thank you. But what we're saying is that things are happening to me in more concentrated time, right? So they're happening faster, more concentrated, and it's giving people less time to be strategic.
Yes, it is. And so we talk about Bitcoin. We're big in Bitcoin, and we talk about precious metals. And so, when you when you're dealing with either or, you have to understand, your risk. The risk that you're willing to take. It depends on maybe your age, what you have built up, and things like that. That's why we always are big fans of precious metals, because precious metals hold and keep your spending power, right? We always say 1 ounce of gold should buy a man a fine suit over time. No matter how much gold, 2,000, 5,000,
how much it fluctuates.
It should buy you a fine suit.
That's the truth.
So it holds its purchasing power. Where you're seeing the dollar is losing purchasing power, right? And so you want to put your money in something that holds purchasing power. Bitcoin is sound money, and it probably will give you greater returns. But you still, you want to have a diverse portfolio where you have a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We out here. I mean, I call myself a Bitcoin maximalist, but I still I'm a big dog in precious metals, because why can't you have both? People will argue, no, I don't do that. This is gold 2.0. I get it.
It's
being
still
gold.
diversification, though.
Yeah, I get it being gold 2.0, but you want to have it diversified to do your thing. Do things that you need to do for you and yours. That's how we try to put it out here, because it depends. And we were talking about this, and I don't know if she wants to go into this, but it depends on even how your setup is. Are you retired? Are your children grown out on their own? Do you have a young family? Are you just, a couple? Are you single? There's different ways you would have to attack it from all those different angles. So I don't know if you want to go into that or not.
Yeah, it's just too many variables, right? It's too many variables. So I think the idea is for you to sit down and meditate on the effectiveness of it and the proficiency of it for yourself. But now they have the gold back IRAs. It's just gold back IRAs. So you guys who have really good corporate jobs, right? Now you can incorporate that along with your 401k. Y'all forgive the stickers. That baby saw all these pretty black Barbies and put them all over me. And I don't want to take them off because I don't want him to feel bad. That mommy's a black Barbie. But there's a lot of great ways to diversify that. Fun fact, and we found this out, 10 minutes ago?
Oh, did we?
Costco sells gold bars. You're familiar with the gold bar, though. When I read it to you, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm familiar with
Pant.
Pam.
Yeah, pant for sure. That's top level when you get gold bar. Usually when you go on and buy, you'll buy a gram.
But I
A
thought they were
gram.
1 ounce bars, right? That I read.
Well, 1 ounce bars are really expensive.
Yes,
They're
they
going to
are.
be over $2,000. But you can get a gram of gold for around $80-$90.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe they're selling grams of
No,
gold.
they're selling 1 ounce Pamp bars or
Yeah.
rounds. Are they rounds?
No, they're little bars.
They're bars. Okay. Do we have the silver ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I know what they are.
Yep.
So they're selling the gold Pamp bars at Costco, and the CEO of Costco is saying he can't keep them on the shelf. So somebody's doing something, and it's a, what do they call it? The canary in the mine shaft.
Yeah, the canary.
Right? It's a sign of the times. He thought that was interesting. I'm gonna read Phantom Beat in just a minute. Okay. It's a sign of the times. The fact that he cannot keep those gold bars, and they are expensive, right? So it's market rate. Yeah. And I'm sure he's got to have some type of premium on it so he can make money.
Yeah, and you understand the people who shop at Costco.
Yes.
Understand the people who shop at Costco. There'll be some of the older people.
Yes.
So they may have some capital.
And it's easier accessible to them, right? Because I can physically go here and get this behind and take it home with me. So it's physical.
Older people who have some capital. You could also, I don't know, but I'm assuming that you could probably use some credit if you needed to.
Yeah, your Costco credit or any other credit, right?
So
this
you
is
do
true.
That. It's also going to be those people that we talk about, our doomsday preppers. Shout out to you guys, doomsday preppers.
Who understand bartering. But it's gold, right? So gold's harder to barter.
But what do doomsday preppers do? They want to buy things in bulk.
Yes, they do.
So they go to Costco, buy things in bulk, and, they'll also get some precious metals.
Phantom Beat, we want to welcome you. Phantom Beat said that Solana is gold backed. And he mentioned, he or she, right? Because I try to look at y'all, your thumbnails to determine. But Phantom Beat said that I Trust Capital is also a way that you can go.
Yes.
Shout out to the chief.
Chief.
Right? Big Grizz is a big proponent of I Trust Capital. It's been very good to him. As he retired from the city of Cincinnati, gave the city of Cincinnati over 25 years.
We did a great show on I Trust Capital.
It's on our page, which I hope is in the description box. Yeah. If it's not, y'all let me know.
But we are, and we also are
doing the gold back IRA.
Yeah, the gold backed IRA, as my beautiful wife, who is a corporate guru, and she's a high level executive.
Oh boy.
High level executive. So she's got to put her money somewhere. Boom, that's can be backed by something.
Yeah.
It's hard. Everybody likes to do stock market and everything, and they'll tell you the FANG stocks, if you will. FANG being Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google is a diverse portfolio for you to have to be safe. That's what they will tell you, and I can't say yay or nay on it, but
but any suggestions you guys have, that way other people can be aware of it. Like, I didn't even think about Solana, but it's gold back, so it's something to look at. Another interesting story. Chase Bank.
So many.
For those of you who use Chase Bank, we use all three of them, but whatever. Chase Bank is closing, or has closed, over 3,000 branches, right? And I was reading a story, and the story didn't really make sense to me, but here is the crux of the matter, right? Cliff Notes version. What they want to do is they're closing the branches out strategically in order to open new branches, so that strategically branches are within 10 minutes of most residents.
10-minute drive for most residents.
How many of you sat and watched our show about the super cities, right? It's already begun.
Smart cities.
Smart cities, not super cities. I'm sorry.
Smart
cities and sustainable cities. So they're already trying to implement closing branches and reopening branches strategically so that they will be within 10-minute drives.
Yeah, making everything convenient for people. And it seems like, oh, you're doing us a favor, but really, they're lulling you to sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing us a favor, oh, I can just get to the bank real quick, boom, boom, and
Mm-hmm.
you come on back home, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, they're lulling you to sleep. They're getting you prepared for these smart cities
Mm-hmm.
where everything is supposed to be what within 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Due to carbon footprints. So that's their contribution to keeping the carbon footprint down, helping people to maintain and establish their social carbon credits, right? And we're gonna keep like mentioning these little things as they're
And then,
happening because that big marble ball that I keep telling you, like right now is moving really slow, but once it gets going, it's gonna run people over.
yeah, and that's by their CEO,
Jamie
Jamie
Dimon.
Dimon, a
Yeah.
great person, if you will. But yes, Jamie Dimon is putting this thing into play.
Mhm.
And we've talked about Jamie Dimon before. He's been brought up on RICO charges
Multiple.
multiple
Multiple for
times,
spoofing.
and
They also had to do the payout for the Epstein situation. And
yeah,
I said, if y'all ain't have nothing to do with Epstein, I don't know what you're paying out. But that's not neither
yeah,
here nor
yeah. I
there,
ain't gonna hit
y'all,
on Jamie
right?
Dimon.
We're not trying to get the whole gentleman platform taken down talking about foolishness. But we're showing you how all of these little things, right? So this is Chase Bank. It's a legacy bank, right? JP Morgan and Chase, right? These families. Shout out to KW1. What's up, Simon family? Shubham is a thumbnail designer and video editor.
Oh, is it? Okay.
We're good. We're gonna try to keep it simple, Shubham. But thank you so much for
Yeah,
for letting us know that that is a service you provide. Um, it's all of these little things that are happening, but like I said, it's legacy banking. They had a lot to do with the building of the Fed and the central banking for the US. But most importantly, they're also part of the World Economic Forum. Hey, so I just kind of want to show you as we start to actually see things on America's soil to just keep an eye out for that. You guys can just Google that article about Chase Bank. And it's the most branches closed, but as you continue to read the article, you realize that strategically, they said we're going to open a lot more branches. It's just that strategically, it's going to be a 10, hopefully less than 15-minute drive from residences and businesses, right?
and remember, the smart cities will start in the more densely populated areas. This is where
Mm-hmm.
they're going to start. Your New York, Chicago's, LA, whatever, Houston,
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, these places, DC, that are densely populated. That's where they start the smart cities. So people, they don't like to deal with traffic, this, that, and third. Makes it convenient. So in their minds, convenience, you're actually doing us a favor.
Yeah, they're going to wrap everything up as convenience. They're going to wrap
Mhm.
everything up as intuitive.
Yeah.
They're going to wrap everything up under those guidelines, but we do want to see it for what it is. So them doing that, saying that, we're saving you gas, we're saving you this, we're saving you that, and third, honestly is, no, you're just setting up the smart city. So
Setting up the smart city and getting people used to
you see the
dealing
idea.
in the guidelines of a smart city.
Yep, they're going to be basically programming you by practice.
Yeah, and like they said, people have these 100-year plans and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're really targeting your kids and teenagers, and people like us.
And future progeny.
Yeah, we're setting our ways and things like that. But people who grow up and they're used to that, if that's all they know, then it won't be a problem, something that they want to really push back on, because they're like, this is
It's how always
life
been.
is. So, I mean, what's the big deal? Shout out to the fam over here.
Yeah, Huntley said they're going to fool tons of people. Yeah, and this is why we're supposed to be talking to people, right?
Mhm.
It is literally just as important as, any other guys. Hey, dear bit, advance notice, thank you. It's the best I can do, dear bit, right? Um, so here's the thing, right? People were programmed to rely on the news media, the journalists, the newspapers,
Yeah.
in order to give them the news on what's going on. And during those days and times, like when we were children, you didn't really have other mediums and platforms to get the truth out, right? It was your rogue journalist whose editor was going to be in this conspiracy with them to tell the truth and blow the lid off or something. A lot of them died and stuff. It was crazy. And the news has to be approved in order to be broadcast on television. We're in a day now where we can get the news out, but we do have to share it with each other, right? So it's not just content creators who are supposed to be sharing the news. You guys have to go out and share the news as well so that tons of people aren't fooled.
Yeah.
The current news is not only a distraction, but very oftentimes you guys can go on social media and see hundreds of montages of different news broadcasts
Yep.
where they're all saying the same thing. Nobody is safe until everybody's safe. We're going to build it back better. That's why I was telling you guys about the buzzwords. You can look all of those things up because the news media is owned by the corporations, right? They are not for the people. The United States is not for the people. The United States has an agenda, and that's what the news is about. This is really us getting things out. Now, because of spiritual law,
Oh, yeah, there we go.
right, they have to tell you up front what they're going to do, because when we don't do anything about it, we give them that passive permission to do it. So it is why everything is now upfront and in your face at this point, which brings us to our next segment of the show. Like I said, the show ain't gonna be too long, but I am feeling better, so it could be a little longer than I initially thought. But today is September 29th. I don't know how many of you know, but right now, your government is deadlocked and they're threatening to shut the government down at midnight tonight. What is that over, right? Simplistically, it is basically over extending the spending, right, for 45 days. I think that takes it out to November 17th, I thought.
Yeah.
About 45 days on or about. And the Ukraine needs more money for this war. I know people feel like the Ukraine war doesn't have anything to do with them, but it does, because the money coming out of your pocket, coming out of our pocket, right? If you are a tax-paying citizen in the United States, the money is coming out of your pocket. So it does affect you. Two, if the Ukraine does not do well in this war and Putin gets mad enough, they could bring the war to your soil. So it does affect you, right? Three, because of the excessive spending of the Ukraine war, understand that that means they're taking money for this and money is coming away from that, right? For your infrastructure, whatever money was supposed to go towards whatever city you live in, and how the federal spending kind of trickles down to states and then cities and so on and so forth, it affects you. There's no way around the idea that this particular situation is going to affect you. But more importantly, right, we want to be strategic. I don't know how many of you have government contracts, work for the government. I don't know how many family members may rely on government assistance.
Well, I will say, just from statistically speaking,
Yes, sir.
last that I checked, about 67% of Black people in the United States are employed by the federal government, whether it's on the federal level, state level, city, city kind of municipal level. So you see a lot of Black people, and you understand that when you go around, you see a lot of Black people work at the post office, they work
State
at
government, city
DMV,
government, federal government, yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of that, and that also includes the military, because that is seen as a federal government.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are employed by the federal government, contracts, the FDA, things like that, where it pays well and it has good benefits. But when you have this situation, then
it could negatively, adversely affect you.
Yeah. So I checked the people. I thought they had said something.
Dear Bit just said yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed.
And Phantom Beat said, tend to get tunnel vision with the info. Yeah, with the news info.
Yeah.
So it's important that you guys set your algorithms. Right now, we're in the age of Aquarian. The truth is going to be prevalent, but it's going to be mixed with nonsense. That's one. Two, you want to unlock your algorithm. They're locking you into specific algorithms to keep you from amassing a more diversified knowledge of what's happening out there.
Yes, they do. Three,
I'm bringing up the government closure. That's nothing new, right? Government, they've done that for years, right? Sometimes they do shut down. I remember 2013, was it 2013? They shut down for like 18 to 21 days. It's nothing new. But the point is we're always talking about preparedness, right? if people rely on any type of government funding, whether you work for the government or you rely on government assistance, go get the things you need for your house, right? Food and necessities, and do not spend unnecessarily, right? Until you kind of know what's happening, because you're not going to know the government shut down till midnight tonight. So just budgeting, excessive spending. We've been telling you guys for weeks, go out and get extra groceries, go out and get non-perishable goods, go out and do this. One of the other things in that bill that they just kind of like tried to like slide right on over, right? Because they went into the whole Ukraine spending and they really spent a lot of time on that, is there's a natural disaster bill that they want funding for. That is what piqued my ears, right? So tomorrow's October 1st. I've talked to you guys about October 4th, right? Where they're going to send the emergency broadcast alert to
Yes.
all devices. Whether your device is on or not, that alert is going to pulsate to your device. That's the new thing now. And they want to do another one on October 11th, but I think the one on October 11th is only for the UK. I'm not really sure, but here we are. If we're talking about October 4th, which we're sure about, right? And I think October 11th is pretty sure. But, 4 days prior, they're talking about adding money to a natural disaster bill. And I keep telling you, they are looking to make up another crisis to shut things down because they know COVID ain't going to fly. They know Muggs is already on top of the COVID. That's not going to fly to shut things down. They're going to try to look for another way to shut things down, and they're trying to get funding for a natural disaster bill.
They are.
Right? We've always had natural disasters. Why are you asking for that now?
Yeah, they are, and this is why we say, as far as your finances and things like that, get the sound money.
Yes.
Be ready for these type of things that are happening. So I would say keep stacking your Bitcoin, keep stacking your ounces, and be prepared. Even if it is as small as if you just buy, it doesn't even matter, right?
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter what amount you buy. Just keep being vigilant about it, and over time you will be surprised about how much you have built up.
Right. And you want to get the extra water, the extra canned goods, the extra meat for your freezers. If you own a deep freezer, start trying to fill that up. People who are going to be furloughed, you never know how long the government's going to be shut down. If you're one of the affected workers, if you're one of the furloughed workers. But again, that's not anything new. It's just, hey, this is a reminder that the time is coming now where there's going to be a lot more chaos happening, where you want to just constantly be in the habit. That's the word I want to use. You want to be in the habit of being prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we talked about the government shutdown. I reminded you guys about October 4th. On or about 2:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that emergency pulse is going to alert to your phone. Here's my suspicion, and this is just my personal suspicion. I could be absolutely wrong, but I'm always sitting and thinking, like, why are you guys doing that? We all know that Maui had the wildfire.
If you will.
They have the most sophisticated alert systems, right, in the U.S., and not one alarm went off. So now you're saying, well, we want to test it to make sure that it works, right? You want to hit me with the okie doke. Okay. So I said, it's going to be one or two things. Either they want to activate something, or they want to know how much access they have to something. And I said, and I thought about this for a good little while, right? If I can send an alert to your phone and it ain't even on, I know that I have access to this electronic device. And if it's anything like what they want to do with the smart card, if and when you act up, I can remove access to this device.
It's true.
These are people's lifelines, right? Your banking's on there, your books are on there, your social media, all of your contacts are on there. It's the way that you can communicate. And notice how they really are trying to digitize the world in a place where you don't have. They want to kind of reduce that physical contact between you and other people, that social contact that you have with people. Shout out to the metaverse president, right? No shade or anything, but they want you to spend time in the metaverse so that you're not spending a lot of time out in the physical world with physical people. It's a way to cut your lifelines off, right? So if I can remove access to your device, Think about what I could do to you just psychologically, not physically, right? I don't have to physically hurt you or anything like that, but just think about how psychologically I've just isolated you. I didn't put you in a cell or anything. So these are the things we want to think about with why are you doing what you're
Why are you
doing?
doing? Yeah, let's give a shout out
If
to
you
them.
know, you know, say, what silver bars do you recommend? I'm bored of stacking coins for the moment.
Oh,
Okay, so you got your rounds and everything together. That's good. I mean, we don't have a preference on bars.
I
Do
do
you
not.
mean measurement? Like, should I get a kilo bar? Should I buy 10-ounce bars, 5-ounce bars? Just kind of clarify in the comments. Or if you're trying to figure out like brands like Nine Silver or Atmex bars, just clarify what your question is for us. If you know, you know. Um, so we want to just kind of start asking a lot of critical thinking questions. It's something that many of us have learned in school. It is a skill that we should be practicing daily. Why are you doing what you're doing? Right? We know when, we know what, but we want to know why. And how can we guard ourselves against the wiles of this particular evil that keeps trying to find ways to figure out what to do and what not to do with the masses of people. So that's October 4th and October 11th. Keep that on your calendar. There was one more thing we were supposed to talk to them about.
You had something else about
I'm
it.
going to mention this briefly, and
Okay.
maybe if it's something y'all are interested in, Simon and I will absolutely talk about it in the next show.
Okay.
A lot of people don't like the God talk. They don't like the biblical prophecy talk, scripture talk, but I'm going to keep it real with you, right? At the level that the elites and the cabal work, everything is spiritual to them. How do we know that, right? We talk about the church and state and corporations don't deal with God, and none of that's true. This is a spiritual war they are fighting. How do you know? You can tell by where they put their money. When you go to Washington, D.C., and you look at the symbolism that they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars building, the way the buildings are erected, the obelisk, the money still has pyramids and stuff on it. Understand that they are dealing in a very spiritual area, right? When you look at Freemasonry, and the higher up you go, the more secretive it is because they are dealing with spiritual things. It is the regular people that they hit you with the okey doke and be like, nah, this is just business. There's no God or spirit to go. No, let's not talk about God. But they deal with their God behind closed doors. The rituals you see on television, real quick, CBS, it was the Grammys. Sam Smith did that unholy satanic ritual. He said, I can't wait to perform tonight. CBS and people, they've since deleted it, but a lot of people have it, said, we're ready to worship. The Grammys? What? Right? So just understand that they are dealing in spiritual things. The history of the country, all dealing in very spiritual things, right? And that is the war that's waging against really the people of God. That's God's honest truth, right? So you want to start looking at, go online and start looking at the history of how Washington, D.C. was designed, right? They talk about our forefathers were God-fearing men. What God? Right? By their fruits, you should know them. What God? Right? The different eagles, the gargoyles on buildings. You go downtown, the way not the church, the courthouse is erected like ancient temples. That is not by mistake or design. These statues that they put into these buildings, none of those things are by mistake or design. Right? You go into the Denver airport, they have a whole temple of, I want to say it's Athena, inside of the Denver airport. Why? We're not Grecian, right? So start looking at, what are the elites spending their money on? What do they take time to build, like the infrastructure? Those are the symbols, and they have the symbols in plain sight. You guys can look at the logos of major corporations, because the United States is a corporation. So start looking at all of the symbolism, the onslaught of symbolism that they hit you with. The Chrome logo, CERN's logo, right? CERN is supposed to be a scientific endeavor in Switzerland.
Yes, it is.
Google the CERN opening ceremony and tell me why it was a spiritual satanic ritual.
And tell us
If it's just science.
And also remind them of what statue is erected outside of CERN.
Shiva, right? So Shiva, the destroyer, is outside of CERN. And I know it feels a little scattered, but the world is consolidating itself against people, against humanity. And they're showing you in plain sight what their intentions are. They're showing you the spirit behind the intentions. And these are the things we really need to start looking at. If you watch commercials, products, services, by their fruits you shall know them. You can see them, right? And I think this is really, really important because a lot of it is programming. We just take what we're given because we were programmed to do that. But when you open your eyes that you shall see and open your ears so that you may hear, that's when the truth starts to come tumbling out. And they're not even trying to hide it anymore. The last thing I wanted to mention, with that being said, is I may put a whole show together so I could take you back in history just for the United States. We ain't gonna go into all these other countries in the world. But the United Nations, their address in New York City is 666 United Nations Boulevard. That's not by mistake.
Repeat that again. We need to hear
666
that.
United Nations Boulevard in New York City. There is a statue of one of the beasts. It's got the mouth of a leopard, the feet of a bear, the wings of an eagle. It's hanging right outside the building, and across the courtyard is the fight between Michael and the dragon. Why? Why? If this isn't spiritual warfare, cloaked under business and commerce, right? So I really wanted to kind of put that out there so, a lot of you can start to be like, okay, I see exactly what you're saying. This is what's happening. This is how things are being run. The agendas behind them. But most importantly, right, spend time, even if it's an hour or two a day, not getting locked into an algorithm.
Yes. Unlock the algorithm.
Oh, I get it. Okay, so if you know, said, I guess, what bars are best for resale value if the need should come? Exchange bars or mint bars? Like APMEX custom bars. We have a lot of those, the APMEX custom bars. But just the little ones that say APMEX bars, they tend to increase in value, and they do really, really well. Bars from the government mint, still looking in the 1 ounce range. I think APMEX would be your best bet as far as I can tell.
Government bars are good. It depends on where you're trying to sell your bars at or who you're selling them to. Because we are fans of APMEX. You can always sell your bars back to APMEX.
Easy.
Right, so it's easy breezy kind of transaction. But yeah, you want, because these bars, it just like your rounds, they have a level of, what would you call it? Hierarchy, right? When you come out here, you have American Silver Eagle. People understand what that is, and it has a hierarchy. So you want to have maybe some bars from different mints.
The 9 Fine Mint has good bars too.
We love those. We buy those hand poured bars, really, because they're saying you should just get your
They have collectible value.
Yeah, get your ounces up, and you want to be what's the word I'm talking about? They say don't go too much over a kilo bar, maybe 100-ounce bar.
Yeah, because those it's not easily divisible.
Yeah.
And right now we're talking from a practicality standpoint. When we lived in prosperity, when Bitcoin was 60,000, you do all that fly stuff, right? I mean, 10 kilo bars, you do all that fly stuff. But now that we're kind of headed back into, stuff's getting real out here, right? And the enemy is waging war against the people. Now we have to start thinking in terms of practicality. So like how you said you really want to kind of be looking in the 1 ounce range, I think that's a good idea because those are easily divisible in the event that you need to barter for something.
Yes.
Right? And this is how we need to be thinking now. When you're in a time of prosperity, think prosperous, right? Be fly. But when you're in a time of, and I don't like to use the word survival, but that's really where things are headed, and you have to keep being as strategic as possible.
Yeah, and also if it's going to be about bartering, you got to look into constitutional silver, right? So, quarters, nickels, and dimes
Absolutely.
minted before
1965.
1965. So look into those as far as bartering.
Right.
And but yeah, you're on the right path. You got it. You got it. And we just tell you some of the things that we've tried to do over time. And yeah, but I mean, you're right. You're on the right path. So
Yeah,
you're
so
on the
we
right
really
path.
want to
So
start looking at all these events.
mhm.
I cannot seem to get any information on the World Economic Forum meetup last week. And that really has my spidey senses going nuts. So I'm still digging for that. It's really, really closed doors. So it's stuff that I can tell they're trying to spring on us, because if we know it beforehand, people are going to fight back and panic and do all of that stuff that they don't want. Two, start looking at those gun bills, right? What they're doing right now is they're trying to, under the guise of all of the school shootings,
Okay.
they are trying to come up with bills in order uh, to reduce the ownership
Yeah.
of assault rifles, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So start looking at that, right? Because everything is going to be under this lie that feels like the truth.
Mhm.
Right? Don't you want to make things safer for the babies who go to school? And all of a sudden, these children are referred to as babies, right? We're not thinking about them when 10,000 of them are missing from a crisis. We don't refer to the babies. What babies? Who's missing? Right? That's what it is when there's a crisis and they didn't traffic those children. But when it comes to saving their lives with social carbon credits and making sure that the average American does not own a firearm, then they're babies. And I just want y'all to watch some of the okie doke that they try to hit you with in order to get you to psychologically agree and go with what they're trying to do in order to give you less and less autonomy, less and less control.
Yeah.
They're getting to the point where there's a gentleman who works for Klaus Schwab. I cannot think of his name. It's a Jewish name. I want to say his name is Yuval Noah. But
Okay.
you can just Google the term, it's time to hack people. And what they want to do is they want to put chips and nanobites and stuff under the skin so that they can fully biomap you.
Yeah.
Why? So we can figure out ways to control you without any resistance at all. The AI bots are not enough. We want to have artificial intelligence be a human being that I can fully control. And that's what this is all about. It's about complete control of the masses. So keep all of these things in mind.
I want to say one more
Go
thing.
ahead, babe.
Check out the people if anything.
It's just Stream Elements.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
I forget what the last thing I was going to say. We were talking about
Make sure
the
they're
bots.
Stacking,
Yeah, everybody's stacking.
getting their gold and silver. Also, tomorrow is the start of flu season, or whatever season they want to call it now.
Yeah.
6th season is what I'm going to call it. And we talked to you guys about them taking off those very efficient medications from over the counter in order to get you to go into your doctor's office to get prescriptions.
Yeah.
Start stacking up on those before they take them off the shelves. We know that they work, right? We know Tylenol cold and flu works. We know that Benadryl with the decongestants, Benadryl Plus, we know that stuff works. And I'm not sponsoring any company. As a mom, I'm telling you that these things work. They want to take them off the market in a way to force you to go to the doctor, because when you're forced to go to your doctor, what can the doctor force on you? Whatever they want to force inside your body. So start keeping those things in mind. Wash your hands, right? I know I'm a mom, so I'm going to chastise y'all. When y'all go out and you come in, first thing you do, wash your hands, wash your face, so that you can keep the germs down, because that's a lot of the germs passing. Just even sometimes you don't even think about it. You're touching stuff while you're out in the street. You leaned up on your friend's car.
Yep.
You don't know. You don't know. So make sure you're washing your hands and doing whatever you can to keep your immune system up as they try to beat it down.
They do.
Right? Make chicken noodle soup from scratch. I know it's easy to, no, I'm serious, right? I know it's easy to go to the supermarket and buy, these great cans of soup. They taste great. You don't have to do all of the work. Doing it from scratch, you know what ingredients are in it, right? You get the broth from the chicken, the bones and stuff like that. Put fresh vegetables in there, as fresh as they can possibly be. We need to get back to a little bit of antiquity in this very digital age. So let's just kind of keep those little itty bitty things in mind. I would even suggest y'all go and find an analog clock that runs on a battery, right? Because we're so dependent on our phones, but if they have access to our phones and they can you don't know what time it is, like that's real disorienting. If they just blacked everybody out, right? Go to Big Lots and get you an analog clock you can have in your house. Teach your children how to read an analog watch. The majority of the people nowadays have digital smartwatches, right? We need to implement some of the hardcore cement analog things that we used to know how to do that's getting lost generation by generation by generation. So we're going to sign off with that, you guys. As soon as Simon and I get some additional information on what's going on, if you have family, and not to, right, I mean, nobody's humiliated or condemned or anything like that, but if they rely on like food stamps and stuff like that, they need to go out today, and go stock their house up with food so that midnight hour doesn't come in there. Is it a SNAP card? EBT card? I can't remember what it's called, but whatever that card is that you use at the supermarket so it don't get shut down. Because if the government closes, we don't know for how long. You just want to be prepared up front. If you guys are relying on the GI Bill,
been there, done that.
The apprenticeship bill, I can't remember what that was called.
Yeah.
Those different types of funding that you're getting, you really want to kind of sit and have a plan just in case there is an extended amount of time of government closure. And that way we could all help each other as a community. We love y'all, and hopefully, dear bit, I heard nothing. You said some good stuff and it started buffering. Oh no, maybe that's our internet.
I'm sorry.
Let me see. It shouldn't be buffering too much. But we will be getting in touch with you guys next week as we have some more developments. Y'all have a good one and enjoy your weekend. Be safe and be prepared. Bye.